being a goaltender in the NHL can be tough, as it's often regarded as the most difficult position in all of sports, as the goalie has the rare ability to control the team's confidence and how they play in front of them. You're dependent on more often than anyone else to carry your team as far as you can. And when you fall short, well, let's just say you're probably the one taking the blame. In this video, I'm going to rank the worst of the worst displayed this season between the pipes. And with that, here are the top 5 worst current goalies in the NHL. Number 5. Cam Talbot. Let's face it, losing your starter position and getting traded are usually signs that things aren't working out. And for Talbot, his last couple seasons in Edmonton weren't exactly favorable. But looking at his stats, you can easily notice an obvious decline as his save percentage has been declining and goals against descending season by season. Therefore, it hasn't been a shock to anyone that the Ontario native was traded at the deadline. After recording 31 wins and 31 losses in regulation, Talbot finished last season with a .903 save percentage and .893 this season for Edmonton, before being shipped out. He wasn't always this bad though, as I mentioned, and was even nominated for the Hart and Vezina trophies after leading his team to the playoffs in 2017. Therefore, maybe being traded is the best thing that could happen for the netminder. With a fresh start and less of a workload, maybe we'll see the old Talbot back before long. Number 4. Cory Schneider. During his days in Vancouver, Schneider represented part of one of the best goalie tandems of the modern era, behind the unofficial captain at the time, Roberto Luongo. But after coming to New Jersey and assuming the starter position, the Massachusetts native has begun to show a decline. He has fought injuries, yes, off and on, which have arguably kept him from his best form possible, but half of his season records, including this one, have been losing ones. After 22 starts this season, he's currently averaging over 3 goals allowed per game, with 5 wins and 11 losses. Out of his 5 full seasons with the Devils, they've managed to make the playoffs one time last year, while losing in the first round. Of course, a team's performance isn't all the goaltender's fault, but it can be a reflection of issues below the surface. As for Schneider, he's in the middle of a 7-year contract with a no-trade clause. Therefore, if the Devils want him moved, they had better get to thinking. Number 3. Craig Anderson. Things haven't been the best this season in Ottawa, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. As the team struggles, along with it, the goaltender will be also. And that's kind of a given. But Anderson has been less than consistent for a while now, between the pipes, as last season was actually the worst of his career, save percentage-wise, as a Senator, while finishing with a measly .898 save percentage and a 3.32 goals against average. The Illinois native has had better days though, and even came in clutch countless times for his team while getting them to the conference finals in 2017. But since, it's been pretty much downhill from there. He is getting older though, and he's currently 37, in his first year of a 2-year deal. Therefore, we may not be seeing much more of Andy, as he could retire after next season, if he's not traded before. Number 2. Mike Smith. Smith's story is pretty much the opposite of Anderson's, as he's been playing for a very good team this season and the best points-wise in the conference. Even still, his numbers haven't been the greatest as of late, as he currently has a .896 save percentage, the worst he's had in over 10 years. When he was with Arizona though, he was part of the team that went to the conference finals for the first time, after finishing first in the division. But since coming to Calgary, Smith hasn't lived up to the hype. He also could be the victim of age, as he's currently 36, and probably past his prime. The netminder is in his final year of the 6-year contract he signed in Arizona, and will be a UFA this summer. Therefore, we could very well see Smitty sporting a different jersey next season if he decides to remain active. Number 1. Jake Allen. If I were to ask you who comes to mind when I say inconsistent goaltender-wise. If you follow the league, you're more than likely to have the Fredericton native come to mind, as Allen has been hot and cold all season, while coming in clutch some nights and having to be relieved in others. After outplaying Brian Elliott a few seasons back for the starter position, the netminder hasn't been the same since, as his numbers have shown a subtle decline following the 2015-16 season after the Blues' appearance in the conference finals. Despite this, Allen has had rookie Jordan Bennington to lean on when things get rough, and therefore we can only assume that what happened to Elliott may very well be happening to him before long.